The future is changing. Before, you had to be specializing in one thing. You have to be the master of that thing. But now, this is the time of the Da Vincis, the polymaths, the people who have a lot of interests, the people who feel overwhelmed with all their interests because they're like, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this, but I need to make money. This may be the luckiest time ever in history for the people who have a lot of interests. Let me prove it to you. So in the past, there was this thing called the I-shaped future. We'll get to the M-shaped future, but first we have to understand how things used to work. What it used to be is you had to master one skill, and you mastered it incredibly well. You were a specialist. You were the one person who knew everything about back-end Python development, or you're the one person who knew everything about how the propeller moves on a boat, or name your thing. That was your expertise, and you would get a job for that expertise. You would be the go-to person. You'd climb the ranks at your stable job, your stable career. In the past, stable, that word no longer really applies. But in the past, you had your stable career, you climbed the ranks, and then eventually you got a really great job, and you got to maybe lead other people to do the thing that you used to do. But you know what? You finally made it, and then you retire and you're off to the races. You kind of go do whatever you want to do at that point. Maybe you start bird watching or whatever. But that was in the past. Now, in the future, the way things are going to work is different. If you have been living under a rock, then let me just tell you about something. It's called AI. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's a bigger disruption than the Industrial Revolution because it's moving faster. You know, back in the Industrial Revolution, they had to think about how are we going to retrain people for all these factory jobs. It's like, but there was some time to do that. It really wiped out the foundations of how things used to be, which was a lot of people were farmers. And then they had to learn how to do these new skills, which are factories. But the thing that you have to understand is today is very different. Today, we are moving so fast that one job gets wiped out, and then you retrain for a new job, that job is now wiped out. How do we prepare ourselves? How do kids prepare? Like, what exactly is this new world we're moving towards? Now, if it feels like I'm hinting at some new paradigm, you're right. This is what we call the M-shaped future. And the thing is, it's already here. It's actually already been here for a while. It's been here because of AI. AI has made it so different professions are benefiting enormously by AI taking on work that they didn't do or they didn't like to do or they just weren't as good at doing. So, for example, in the coding field, I'm a technical artist. I know how to code. I know how to build 3D assets. I know how to texture, model, all these different things. And that's how I built my career in AAA gaming. The thing is, you have to actually build expertise in a lot of different domains. But then you let AI do the things that you don't enjoy or that you're not as good at. So AI takes on some of that load, which means you can actually master a lot more things. That's where these M-shaped tails, it can be many, many different things, many different skills. But the real idea is it's no longer one skill. It's many skills that kind of benefit off of each other, because now AI is doing a lot of things that I can have AI generate 3D assets. I can have AI do first pass in texturing. I can have AI use my tools to generate things. I can have AI write me a function. I can have AI write me an entire tool. It's not going to be great, but it's going to be a good start. The thing is we have to move. We have to adapt to this new reality. And the thing is, we're all becoming directors now. We have a creation we want to create, right? Or a product, or a video, or a brand, or something. And then AI is there to help with all the things that you don't have other people or yourself do. So we can now be more creative in a way. We're actually And we're trying to come up with a way to bring a vision into reality, right? That's what everyone wants to do. And with doing that, you're now able to understand a lot of different areas, maybe marketing, business, um, coding, all of these different things are different little tails on the M, and they're how you actually bring your vision into reality. You still may have to hire people, you still may have to, do that, but it's going to be so much easier now to be the director. You're the director now. No matter what field you're in, whether it's research, whether it's coding, you're going to have to know a whole bunch of different things because there's a unique set of interests that you have, that you follow, that you understand and get deep knowledge in. And that unique combination of things can create something that only you can create. It might not be absolutely needed by the world, but you want to find something that you can build that is as needed as possible while matching your interests, your unique strengths, and while you're trying to do this thing that brings something into the world and you're kind of orchestrating everything to happen so that you can bring this into the world. And that is where the future's going. If you're not aware of that, then I don't know what to tell you because you've been living under a rock. That is how things are already moving. You can no longer get a job with just knowing one thing. Like, probably in very, very niche things you can, but in like a year, it's not going to be possible. In 2 years, it's going to be unheard of. In 3 years, people are going to laugh at you. Things are moving so fast that you just have to find the things that you enjoy doing, the things that you are interested in, and pursue them. Go for it. Do it. That's the only thing. No one's telling you you have to do it. No, school's not going to teach you have to do it. School's not going to teach you how to do it. It's going to be a curiosity-based system. A curiosity-based system to understand how your interests can then build something unique in the world that people want. And whether that's a piece of content or a product or a company, something, that is up to you to figure out. But it's going to be no longer possible to get a job even if you don't know how to use AI to do a lot of different things. You're going to have to know different areas because now if someone knows how to code and they know how to do, let's say, graphic design, and they also know how to do audio design, well, who's going to get the job for something that once was 3 jobs, but now it's going to be 1 job with 1 person who knows all 3 of those things that uses AI and all these tools to help? That is the future we're headed towards. And I think it's actually exciting. You might be scared by that, but if you really think about it, we all want to learn more. We all want to understand more. A lot of us have hobbies. These things are now part of what makes you unique and valuable in the economical machine we call the capitalist system. And it's a beautiful system. I know a lot of people hate on it, but capitalism is one of the most efficient ways to find out what people want. What do people want in the world? And what are you trying to do if you're not trying to provide value? You're trying to provide value. And value is determined by people. People want something. That means you create a piece of music that you think is really good. Some people think maybe it's valuable. You create a video, and some people think it's valuable. You create a piece of code. Some people think it's valuable. You can create parts of these things for another company that's already doing things that people think are valuable. The only reason you can make money is because someone thinks what you're doing is valuable to the world in some way. And they are willing to pay value because that's their hard-earned money, which they provided value to something else. They're not just going to part with that value, that money that they worked so hard for, just willy-nilly. They're actually going to have to determine, is this really valuable for me or for someone in my life or for something that I care about enough to basically work hard for them. If you're working really hard, you're literally working to get whatever value that is that created. So We are just trying to create value in the world. And nowadays, being a super great expert in one thing is not enough. You're going to have to be an expert in a lot of things, but the good news is that it's things that you care about. You're going to have a unique set of interests that no one else has, and you're going to have a certain expertise in those interests that no one else has. AI can then do the things that you don't want to do, or that is not as interesting, or that is just better at. Calculators are a tool that made it so math became not a valuable skill, at least just calculation as a part of math. So that is happening everywhere now. And it's up to us to figure out where we fit in that new system. This is the future of the polymath, the Da Vinci age. Da Vinci would have excelled in this age. People who have a lot of interests and who really actually want to get into those interests. This is the time. This is the future. Now, you might have a job doing one thing, but then you have to be building your repertoire on the side. Hopefully, you're already doing that. Hopefully, you have hobbies. Hopefully, you have things you enjoy. Now, eventually, you're going to end up mixing all of those things to make yourself a personal brand, a business, or something. The future, I believe, is personal brands. We're all going to have our own business, our own personal brand. Maybe even Web3 is going to be a part of that. We have built-in trust in the system. So, we're hired on for a specific project, and then we have a percentage ownership stake in that project. We get inherent trust. So when that project makes money, a portion of that money goes directly to the creators. And then you can have your friends also promote it, and then they get a portion of your royalties or profits. And that's how you divvy that up. Like, it's all going to be this new system of business slash personal brand slash your consulting slash your unique things that make you you. They're going to be your value factor. And I believe the cost of goods and everything is going to go down so much that it's not going to matter as much to survive, but it is going to matter if you want to live the good life. If you want to live a life of abundance, you're going to have to be part of this system. If you just want to skate by, it might be possible in the future where you can just entertain yourself to death. But I don't think that's what most people want to do. I think most people, we're animals. We want to signal status in ways, or we want to provide the best life possible for our kids and our family, our extended family, for the world. Everyone has different motivations, but we all are trying to grow in some way. Whether that's growing and you want views on your music video, or whether that's you want to be the greatest, orator. There's all these things that we want in life, but we have to decide now on how we want to go about that. And kids have to change the way they're educated. We're moving towards a completely different system than ever in history. And that, my friends, is exciting. If you're not scared, you should be excited. If you're scared, you should still be excited. Things are moving faster than ever before. And in my opinion, we're actually moving closer towards a more natural thing. Like, I imagine back in the day, you had people who were in tribes and they were good at a lot of different things. And they had to be, because it's not like you could just not go hunting. All the men have to go hunting. That's just part of the agreement. So you got to be good at hunting. But you might also want to be making money trading shells by making an arrowhead. Maybe you're really good at pulling the feathers, but your interests made you an expert in these combinations of things. And I think it's more human. We don't want to be so specialized. Humans are complex, multidimensional animals. We want to understand things. We're curious naturally. As you can see in almost every kid, they're curious and they have multiple interests. Why limit them to one thing? Why not focus on figuring out how to make the combination of their interests, how they stand out? That is the future.